The third attribute is every teacher a caring educator. Ultimately, no education system can be better than the quality of its teachers. Every teacher a caring educator is our shorthand for saying that our teachers lead, care, and inspire. Who are caring teachers? A caring teacher is one who believes that every child can learn and acts on that belief, is able to connect with and motivate the child, know her, shape her values and character, help her grow as a person, and bring out the best in her. A caring teacher is a skillful teacher, one who masters his content and is able to engage students through thoughtful planning and skillful execution. I know it's not easy to be a caring teacher. And as a system, we have 33,000 teachers. And despite setting high standards in our recruitment and development, having all meet our high professional standards consistently is no mean feat. So from time to time, we do have teachers who do not live up to their high calling and who disappoint us. And we must and will take cases of educators' misconduct seriously so as to maintain public trust. We must uphold the ethos and values of the profession so that it continues to command respect. The vast majority of educators uphold high professional standards, and we must aspire to enable every teacher to be a caring teacher. Much has been done in the past years to deepen the ethos of the teaching profession and to enable teachers to grow. Let me outline 3 things that we are doing and will continue to do. First, to have teachers who care, we must care for our teachers. Not just school leaders, but parents and our community at large must support our teachers. On my part, I will fully support teachers who act professionally, provide recognition, and signal the value that we place on the teaching profession. Many of our teachers have shared with me the challenges that you face at the front line every day. Many of you are torn between tending to your own children and tending to your students, whom you care deeply for as well. We understand this and regularly review our HR policies to better meet the needs of teachers for work-life balance. For example, as teachers do not have annual leave, we have provisions for teachers to go on urgent leave if necessary. For teachers who need to take longer absences beyond 6 months, MOE deploys up to 1,000 replacements at any one time to ensure that their duties are adequately covered. But I know that many teachers find it difficult to go away, as one of you mentioned, that even it is not a 9-to-5 job, and if you leave the classroom for the day, the students are without you for that day, and sometimes you feel bad about getting a colleague to stand in for you because colleagues too have their own responsibility. And indeed, the more caring our teachers, the greater the stress that they feel. There may also have been some unevenness and misconceptions in the implementation of performance management, which causes unnecessary stress. And in this regard, HR will look into how performance management could be improved. In addition, schools can exercise greater flexibility in meeting the needs of the staff. There are many examples of this already happening. One school I visited recently allows teachers with young children to report later so that they can settle their children first. And this teacher who mentioned it to me said it was she had such a peace of mind that her toddler has been settled, as well settled into the preschool, and she can get on with focusing fully on the students. So with the support of caring colleagues, school leaders, and parents, I hope that we can accommodate more such arrangements on a case-by-case basis. Now, many parents and teachers have suggested that we have smaller class size, even students. Let me share a story. I visited Unity Primary School last year. I was told they had planned for me to be a teacher for a day. I had hoped that there were some MOE rules that said that unqualified, non-NIE trained ministers were not allowed to do so. Unfortunately, there was no such rule. Now, it was a primary 4 critical thinking class, and a few minutes after I entered, the teacher turned to me and said, "Over to you, Minister." And immediately, a child raised his hand and said, "Minister, can we reduce class sizes?" I thought to myself, this must be planted. So I told the class, "Oh yes, we could have smaller class sizes, but then we'll need more teachers. We have to pay our teachers. So where do we get the money?" Now they had interesting answers. One hand went up, ERP. Another said, GST. And a third said, income tax. So I asked them, who are paying these taxes? So they looked at each other, and one of them said, "Oh, our parents." I then asked, in 20 years' time, who will be paying these taxes? They looked a little puzzled, thought for a while, and said, "Oh, us." So I said, "Well, what about this? We halve the pay of all our teachers, then we can have double the number of teachers." And the students spontaneously said, No, that would be unfair. Our teachers work hard and they have their families too." I must say that the teachers were around me and the principal looked very relieved. So I asked, "Okay, so what else can we do?" And after a few trial and error, one very thoughtful boy stood up and said, "Some of us learn faster than others. We can help to teach the others." Now, I was very touched by this visit because first it showed how much the students cared for their teachers. And this thoughtful child who raised this suggestion also got me thinking about how we can encourage more collaborative learning. For those who learn faster, they can indeed teach those who learn slower. And this can encourage empathy and concern for others. Now, more fundamentally, class size is not a silver bullet. It is an oversimplification to think that having smaller class sizes can significantly improve the quality of learning. It is not just about the budget, but the determining factor remains the quality of teachers. There are trade-offs. If we were to expand the teaching force to reduce class sizes, we'll need more teachers and quality will drop. Now, there's one other critical fact, and that is our overall pupil-teacher ratio is not an unfavorable one. We are similar to OECD norm. Our PTR is just below 18 for primary schools and 15 for secondary schools. The OECD average is 16 and 14. Now, by recognizing that different schools have students with different profiles and different needs, we have chosen to give schools the flexibility to deploy their teachers in areas of most need, rather than to go for an across-the-board reduction in class sizes. Some schools have more challenging student profiles, and as I mentioned earlier, we are studying how we can better do needs-based resourcing. So let us allocate resources where we can make the greatest impact. Now, for every teacher to be a caring educator, we must continue to raise the quality of our teachers. Our high-quality teaching force is equal to the best in the world, but we must keep up with changing demands. Dealing with the explosion of knowledge, the need to nurture character, and engaging and connecting with students are just some of this. Last year, we introduced a Teach framework to strengthen the professional culture and provide flexible work arrangements for the teaching fraternity. We launched a teacher growth model this year to encourage teachers to take ownership of their professional growth. I'm encouraged by how quickly our educators have taken the lead to develop a culture of professional excellence. Nevertheless, we'll need to better support our school leaders as individuals and as a leadership team to meet expanded and more complex demands. Third, to have a leading teaching force, we must build up a strong core of mentors for our younger teachers. This includes school leaders, master and lead teachers, and specialists. 8 years ago, we first announced our intention to expand the teaching force. I'm happy to announce that we have just reached our full complement of 33,000 teachers, recruiting both fresh graduates and mid-career professionals. Today, a quarter of our teachers are below the age of 30 and have less than 5 years of experience. And some of our new teachers are still finding their feet. I'm heartened that AST has piloted the Skillful Teaching Enhanced Mentoring or STEM program in 30 schools. This program is doing well, and we will scale it up. So I encourage more of our experienced teachers to step forward and develop the younger generation of teachers. We must pass down from one generation to the next the skills and the ethos of our teaching profession to make every teacher a caring educator.